So for the final visa that we are discussing today, we are talking about the M-1 visa. So I know you're like, okay, not another visa, but with this one, I always like to think of this one as combining both sort of elements of the F1 and elements of the J1 to make one that's a lot simpler for people who are not coming for an academic purpose. So this is the non-academic student visa, if you want to think about it that way. Now you're like, what does non-academic mean? In terms of the way that we think about it here in the US and how the State Department thinks about it, non-academic, it means that you are coming here to get education that is not necessarily leading to a full length degree. So typically it's going to be things that are going to be vocational, and that may deliver you a diploma or certificate, but are not going to be one where you are going to be getting, let's say you're a chemical engineer at a 4-year university. You're not coming here to do that. You're coming here to do things that are going to help you build skills, that are going to help you still get an education. So whether it is beauty school, whether you are coming for tourism school, you're coming for flight school, you're coming for cooking school, different things like that, where you are going into a trade or a vocation that is still very much needed, that is very valuable, but that is not at the same skill level or needed basis to grant you a degree to say, oh, this person has a full length degree in culinary arts. Because again, one of the great things about the vocation, it's sort of a trade-off, is that you get to spend less time in the classroom, yes, but you get to learn on the job. I think that that is so valuable. And I feel like that is something where in a lot of ways we could still develop in this country, of not just having people just sit in a classroom and really learn nothing, to be honest with you. Whereas people who are in trade schools, you're learning a lot on the job. So definitely if you are doing beauty school, I want you to get in there and get hands on and learn. So when you come to do my hair, you know what you're doing. If you are doing cooking, all those different things, you can't really learn that in a classroom. So that's what that's all about. So it is much more of a modified version of the other two things. But the great thing is that right out the gate, you definitely get to work. So it's a lot more flexible than the other two visas, where again, they want you to learn on the job. So a lot of programs like cooking school, like flight school, like tourism school, hospitality school, all these different types of schools, they have all of these different opportunities to work built in. So you may have an opportunity to do an internship. You may have an opportunity to do shadow work where you're just shadowing people, but you're still getting to do some on the job training as you are going along and learning. So there's definitely a benefit to doing that. And you want to come here and do that someplace in the US, that's going to be great because you get exposure to so many different people, and you get to get out there and sort of really hit the road running even before you get your certificate or your diploma. So that is what the M1 visa is all about. Now, one of the things that you may also want to know in terms of how long does the M1 visa last? The M1 visa lasts for up to 1 year. Now, the great thing about it is that typically with whether it be beauty schools or tourism schools or hospitality schools, any type of vocational schools, they tend to have a shorter amount of instruction. And the reason why they do that is what I was just talking about, where they may have 7 months of instruction, and then what they will do is they could extend out the program a little bit longer so that you can be here for a year, but then you're getting that on the job training. And for some of them, it really is kind of straight to the point. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going out and getting your earning hours that you're going to need so that you can be officially certified. And a lot of students, what they will do is if they're coming here on an M1 visa, they will get the education, they get the basics, they get some training, and then they go back home so that they're able to be certified in their home country for whatever it is. So it's a really kind of in and out way to be able to get some education here for vocational training, be able to sort of get your feet wet within the field, maybe get some recommendations, get some people to sort of recommend you to say, this person's going to be great when they go back home, and then still be able to return home and get whatever you're going to need to practice in your particular country. Similar to the J1 visa, there is a 30-day grace period after it's over. So as I said, it can be up to 1 year, but sometimes if your program does not last a year, they will just say, okay, maybe it's just between January and May, and then that's it. So you do have a 30-day grace period. And within that 30-day grace period, it's really great if you're just looking to get some internship experience or externship experience, or just looking to be able to sort of figure out, maybe you could even be able to practice on people. You're going around and finding people to practice on, you're gathering those testimonials. So it's a great way to do that. But I always like to recommend the M1 for people who either are just coming here to do vocational training, or if you're like, I think that I might eventually want to do something in the US, but I'm not completely sure. This is going to give you an opportunity to sort of get your feet wet, get some education while you're here, but then also have the opportunity to return home as well. So definitely want you to think about that. The other thing as well is, in terms of the fee, very similar to the other two, just go on that website, plug it in, and figure out what you're going to have to pay for the actual fee and for the issuance.